All right, so now we see that Yaakov went to Haran, and we talked about it, that Yaakov's whole purpose, this is basically what we talked about in in Torah Or, is the purpose of the Jewish people. He was founding the Jewish people. And Yaakov just wanted to show everybody what the truth is. What's the fact? What's reality? Here you have people in the course of history that they stood up and they said, Napoleon took over the whole, all of a sudden he fired everybody up because he gave them this idea. For the sake of liberty and fraternity, we're going to knock down all the kings, whatever his thing was. But all of a sudden somebody realized, wow, it's true. It really is true. We can fix up the world. Liberty is the most important thing. And then comes the communists, they know equality is the most important thing. We're going to make everybody equal. This is reality. This is real. Suddenly people threw away their whole lives. This is what's real. In other words, people don't know what's real in this world. They don't know what's real. And therefore they can be easily convinced and dissuaded by anything. Any little small wind will blow them over because people aren't based in any sort of reality. So you have all these strange religions and feelings and things. They can tell people what's going on. So Yaakov's whole thing in Judaism is supposed to be to say, listen, there's God, and God creates everybody. And this God really gave the Torah. He gave the Torah to 3 million eyewitnesses. The only time God ever spoke to people in a review and told them what he wants from the world. There's times when he spoke to Bilam, he spoke to Noah, he spoke to, right? He spoke to Lavan. We see he spoke to Lavan. But to tell everybody what he wants from the world, so Yaakov is trying to tell everybody what reality is, what everybody should be motivated by. Not to be motivated by Marx or to be motivated by Napoleon or motivated by these other things, which these are certainly motivations. I mean, those things certainly do exist, but they're not God. Or to be motivated by just egotism. So Yaakov, the whole thing of Yaakov was to take this physical world and make it realize that there's a creator, and making it realize there's a creator will change everyone's, how do they call it, paradigms, and people will start to listen to what it says in the Torah. They'll lose their confusion, they'll lose their egotism, and they'll start doing what it says in the Torah. Okay, because that's, according to this, now we can understand why Yaakov went down to Haran. This is what the Jewish people are chosen for. That's why the Jews are called the chosen people. They're chosen to do what Adam was supposed to do, what Yaakov started to do, to make the world realize what is really true, what's really valuable here. And what's most valuable is there's a creator, and the creator has a law and telling us what to do, and that'll make the world into a perfect place. According to this, now we can understand what Yaakov went to Haran. That by means of Yaakov, he had the ability to overpower on the concealment and the worldliness of Haran. Yetera mizo, and even more, he could join and he could unite the upper worlds with the lower worlds. Neshama baguf, the soul and the body. And by means of this revelation of God's essence. It seems that this novelty was caused by means of Yaakov, him personally, actually, physically, going down into this physical, terrible place, which was called Haran. And therefore, Yaakov, there in this place, going down into Haran was not just an accident. It just wasn't that he missed the bus or that he got kidnapped or something like that. It just happened to be, it was a big mistake. This is where Yaakov was supposed to go. That was his whole reason that he was created, in order to go into the physical world, even the lowest places, and fix it up. Therefore, specifically there, in this low, terrible place, where the worst place to bring children up in, that's where he gave birth to the 12 tribes, specifically in Haran, until in a way that mitato shleimot says that Yaakov's bed was complete. Well, Hosif and Te'eran, Sha'al Pianal, according to this, we can understand what the rabbis say, mitato shlema. It says that Abraham gave birth to Yishmael, and Yitzchak gave birth to Esav. But Yaakov, all of his children were complete. His whole offspring were complete. How does it say in the language which was used in the Midrash and other places, why it says not that his family was complete or his offspring were complete. It says that his bed was complete. Mitato shlema. That's a term it's always used for Yaakov. Mitato shlema. Lo toldosov, not his offspring or whatever. And also, what does it mean, mita? What does it mean? Mita is a bed, but the word mita is also from the word mata. Mata means below. Lamaila ulamata, below. Mato. Shegam hamata, even the lowest part, matato, even the lowest part was complete. And mitato means his bed, but it also means the same exact words, same letters, just a little different punctuation. Matato, the lowest part of him, ad yetermizo, even more. Gamba matzava shechiva, even when he laid down on the bed, it says that he laid down. That's how this Torah portion begins. He laid down. Even when he laid down, when his body was equal to his head, Sha'az, then his head and his body are on the same plane. Hu megale, he revealed that his bed or his lowest level was complete. Shleimu Gilu Atzmos, the complete revelation of God's essence. Hamashva, which makes equal the highest and the lowest. Dvar zeh, and this is made specifically in Haran. So it's a general thing. Even the Rambam says, very, very famous in the laws of the Torah, City of Torah. I think it's chapter 5. You have to look over there and see. He says that Torah scholars, wise men, are known by how they act. It could be this rabbi comes into the room and he knows the whole Torah and he can answer all the questions that there are that everybody has, everything. But when somebody asks a question, he gets mad, loses his temper, lost the whole thing, right? Lost the whole business. Or all of a sudden somebody offers him a bribe, $1 million, and his eyes light up, right? Are you willing to permit me to marry this non-Jewish girl? What are you talking about? I'm a religious rabbi. I can't, no way I can do it. I'm willing to give you $100 million. 100 million? No, I can't. But that 1 second that he thought, 100 million? Oh, it shows where he's really at. There's how a person acts lamata in this physical world, that shows who he is. So another person would say, okay, come on, okay, so his eyes lit up a little bit, so he got a little bit angry, but he's a genius. He answers all of our questions. He's a great leader. He's right. He's say, listen, good, you can whatever you want to, but the truth, the fact of the matter is, something's missing over there. Something is missing. That's not completely the way you want. If you make him your leader, somebody's going to learn from his anger. Somebody's going to learn from his lust. He got lit up 1 second because of the bribery. Attempted bribery. Somebody will get his pupils will get lit up 10 seconds, and their pupils will get lit up a minute, and their pupils will take the bribes. But Yaakov, it says, even lamata mitato, it was complete. Even in Haran, the lowest places, the places which would induce anyone to get angry or to be depressed or to be the lustful or to cheat or to lie or to do any of the things which the world tells you that you're supposed to do, is Yaakov was in the lowest place, and he refined all of this. He was the only person that anybody else in the world would get angry, the only person in the world that didn't get angry. He was an example for good. Everybody else would take the bribe, or at least something. He was the only person that didn't even consider it. And wherever in the lowest places, he was connected to the Creator. Well, Maisa Avos and what the fathers did is a sign for the children. Hashtavos bein chalako elyon, the equality of the upper part and the lower part, ba'ofen, in such a way, shagama mata, even the lowest part of us should be in the language, like it says, v'nogei Moshe, mata elokim biyado, that Moses had the word mata as another meaning to it also. It means a staff. So it means a bed, and it means below, and it means a staff. The mata elokim, it says the staff. It says the staff of God was in the hand of Moses. You can say mata means the lowest part of godliness was in his hand. Mata elokim. Sha'al yado, that by means of the staff, who poel, he did all the miracles and the signs in the land of Egypt. Egypt was called Meitzer v'Gavul. The land of Egypt nowadays is no connection to the land of Egypt, which was bad then. Back then, the land of Egypt was the manifestation of concealment of God. That's called Meitzer Ugavul. Mina Meitzer Karati, like from the narrow place. That's for the Jewish people who were born there. Nase Anani Mirchavia. Moses, just like Yaakov, gave birth to all of his children in Haran. Moses, the whole Jewish people were born in Egypt. Gilui Mirchav Atzmi, the revelation of God. Moses himself was born in Egypt. The revelation of God's from the narrowest place comes the widest place. Atzmos. In other words, the world is not a place where you have to only avoid. You have to avoid the bad in the world. If you don't know how to act properly in the world, then you have to avoid the world. But that's not the job. Our job is supposed to be to fix the world up. But first of all, we have to fix ourselves up. That's Yaakov. Even since the completion of the Bureau of below, it was done by means of the revelation of God from above, that from a from a level which is above being high or low. How do you bring the high levels of godliness into the physical world? So most people will say you can't. You just have to avoid the world. It says the Rebbe, no, that's maybe, you're right, 100%. If the world is a danger, you have to keep away from it. But the idea is supposed to be that we bring godliness into the world. How do you do that? You have to come from a place which is lamaila, above, high and low. Peshitas atzmos, namely the essence of God. That's why we said that Yaakov laid down that his head, the highest levels of him, and the lowest levels of feet were equal. Namely the essence of God, which is attached to the essence of a Jew. Like it says, Yisrael, God, the Jewish people and God are totally one. Like it's saying in a long lathe and this the bringing that we had before. So in other words, generally speaking, if you have other nations, non-Jews, if they're attached to God, they have to be religious. It means they're religious people, usually religious people. There are some people that they say that they're attached to God. They realize that there is God, but they're against organized religion. There is such a thing like that. They're against organized religion. There are a lot of examples of that. They say Isaac Newton was like that. What's his name? Leonardo da Vinci, I think, was like Galileo. These people believed in God, but the church forced them to say that. That's unusual. That's a very, very high, unusual person. Very unusual person. But most people, they want to believe in God. They have to be religion. They have to connect to a religion, something like that. The Jewish people is not that way. You can have a totally non-religious Jew that doesn't do Torah and commandments, and he believes in God. A lot of them even say that doing the commandments, that's taking away from God because it's a physical thing. It's idolatry. A lot of people, I say, would you like to put on tefillin? They say it's idolatry. God is not a physical thing. Don't put it in your own. They got a good point. They have a very good point. It doesn't make any sense to say that God is in this world. The world is terrible. You can't use Yaakov's whole thing was to reveal God in the world, that the tefillin would be God. Godliness. And you're not doing it because you're religious. Jew does it because there's God, and the Jews and God are totally one. In the time of the Inquisition, there were Jews that were they were called the Moranos, whatever. They were totally not religious. But when it came to denying God, they said, deny God or we'll burn you on the stake. They said they couldn't do it. They couldn't do it. And that's why all of them were burned on the stake. How many? Not all of them, but I mean, there were a lot of them that converted also. But also a lot of those people that converted, they did it in quiet. They did it just to save themselves. But in the basement, they had a synagogue or they had a place they put on tefillin in secret. Because a Jew is connected in his essence to God. We see that a lot now in Israel. Like I say, I appear in front of the soldiers in the nighttime. I play and I sing, and you can see that the soldier is a totally different spirit going on now, Yud based. Even since that the main service of Yaakov in Haran, the Torah tells us in Parshas Vayetze that he revealed the oneness of God in a physical body, neshama b'guf, that the whole world, matato shlemo, that the lowest part was complete. Hari hapu'ula, namely the whole physical world is holy. Hainu hari hapu'ula amura, but this is what we said before. It has to be in a complete way in the world. Boim, it comes la'acharei afterwards to Parshas Vayishlach Yaakov next week. He sent these angels. Angels sent messengers before him to Esav. He sent us. They said after he finished with Yaakov, now he had a lower level to work on, and that's his brother Esav. Stay Adom. This is talking about mainly purifying the world of Esav by means of Yaakov. Mavur b'Chasidut is explained in Chasidut that Yaakov is the level of Tikun, and Esav is the level of Tohu. Now, we talked about this before in class, and we said basically all of the bad things there are in the world, all the things that go against the Torah, or things that are forbidden, as they are, they're creations of God. How does God create something that's against him, doesn't reveal him? He says that's what's called an aspect of tohu. That's one of the aspects of godliness, tohu. And the world of tohu is called the world of power, but it's the world of separation. In other words, everything is pure but separate. And something like a painter's palette before he mixes the colors. So all the colors, it's pure, what is it, blue and pure yellow. I forget what the colors are, what are the basic colors, and pure red. And it's pure white, pure black. Everything is pure. It's pure, but there's no harmony there. There's no beauty. Nothing is beautiful. That's how the world of tohu. It's an aspect of godliness where everything is pure, but it's separate. And from that, we come into the world where we have all the animals, where every animal cannot change its nature. A fish acts like a fish, and a donkey acts like a donkey, and a cow acts like a cow, and a horse acts like a horse. Right? And that's their nature. Some animals have the nature that they can be trained and tamed, but that's their nature. They can't go outside of their nature. That's tohu. And that's called the world of confusion. A jungle. Like a jungle. Right? Everything is separateness. Separateness. And Yaakov, his old job is the same thing as Adam, to make order from the to make harmony, to make beauty from all the separateness. So Yaakov is called the world of Tikun, that's the Torah. And Esav is called the world of Tohu, that's the world. Yaakov Shalach Malachim, it says that Yaakov sent messengers to Esav, because he thought that Esav had already purified himself. Yaakov's thing was to refine the upper worlds, to make them conducive, they could come down into the world. And yet Esav was supposed to do something like what Yitzchak did. Yitzchak was his father, to fix up the physical world, to make the world into a vessel. So Yaakov and Esav had been separated. Yaakov thought that Esav came to his senses and that he fixed up the world. Therefore, he sent messengers to him and said, I'm so happy to see you. Here I am. I have a big gift for you. Now there can be a joining between the high lights of Esav and the vessels of Yaakov. Tohu of Esav. Or maybe you could say that Yaakov was the lights, we'll see. And Esav, he was the vessels. In any case, it says, of the kelim of Tohu of Esav, with the lights, there we go, with the lights and the kelim of the merubim of Tikun. So therefore, there could be fixing up. Yaakov could bring all the lights that he made, and he could put them down into the world. The lights and the vessels would be together. That's what it means. Shlemos, a bureau of Gashmis Olom. Then there would be oh, I see. I'm sorry, I didn't read the sentence right. In his source, Esav is the lights. Tohu is the lights. The unification of the big lights of Esav, Tohu, with the lights and the vessels. The main thing of Yaakov was the vessels of Yaakov. In other words, Yaakov made the upper worlds fitting that they could come into vessels. And Esav was supposed to have made the lower worlds fitting that they could receive these lights that Yaakov had. But the source of these lights really came from Esav. Esav was it takes a higher power to fix up the physical world. That's what Esav had. So Yaakov thought that he could unite these two things together and everything was ready. Shazeo, that's the whole completion of the physical world. The world will become a vessel. And even more, it will be united with a total unification with the spiritual. That's like the Holy Temple. Like we said before, when the Holy Temple was in Israel, the physical land was holy. That was like the ideal. That's what Yaakov wanted. By revealing God's essence, which is above Tohu and Tikun, which is above both high and low, to reveal it in the world. This could be revealed in, I'm sorry, B'kedarim shel Tohu and Tikun shekol inyanihu Gilui Atzmos. That therefore the aspects, the good aspects of Tohu and the good aspects of Tikun could reveal God's essence in the world. In other words, simple language, we'll see the reason why God created separateness, why God created bad. He created bad that we should transform it. And when we do, it's an amazing thing. The power in bad, which can be transformed, that's Esav. The ability to transform it, that's Yaakov. Yaakov thought that Esav was ready to receive his lights, and now they could make harmony. It would be wonderful. But in fact, Esav did not do what he was supposed to. Shezeu Davka, this is will be only in the time of the future redemption. Like it says, Ada Sheravo El Adani Seira, like Yaakov said to Esav afterwards. Esav said, "Come, let's walk together." And Yaakov said, "I can't. I have to go slowly, but I'll meet with you in a place called Seir." Says, when is that Seir? When will this be? There's no place like that. It says this will be in the days of the Moshiach. Like it says in the days of the Moshiach, it's a prophecy by Ovadia, the prophet Ovadia. It says, Olom Moshiim, the ones that are saved will come from the mountain of Zion, the Jewish people, Lishpot, to judge the mountain of Esav. And that's going to be the mountain of Seir. Shtei Pirushim, and now that's what these parshos, these two parshos we talked about before, Parshas Vayetze, that's how Yaakov fought against and purified Lavan and gave birth to all of the tribes. And he brought this idea of fixing up the world and bringing godliness into the world. And he finished this in potential, and Vayishlach, this is meeting up with Esav, that he could actually, factually, finally bring the awareness of God into the world. So Vayetze is talking about what Yaakov did with Lavan, and Vayishlach is what he did with Esav. This is all the work of Yaakov. Shehema Makomot, these are the first places in the Torah that it's explained what we should do in this physical world. What's the order of serving God in this world? This reveals at the Tochen v'Tachlit Kalali, this is the content and the goal of serving God with Torah and the commandments. Why did God give Torah and the commandments in this world? What did he need it for? I mean, there's so many religions in the world, and they're nice. The religions in the world are okay. They're nice. They give a person, a goal in the world, and those religions which say we have to destroy everybody else, and I don't think there's too much of a place for them. But in general, the religions, they're nice. They give a person a framework in the world and an order in the world, and they connect you something with spiritual. Why did God have to give Torah and the commandments in the world to the Jewish people? And the Jewish people, they defy all of the other laws. Any other religions, if they went through what the Jewish people went through, they would have dissipated long ago. Long ago. They were so few, and everybody hates them, and they were scattered around, and they have so many internal problems. There's so many people from the inside of Judaism that want to destroy Judaism. If you had that by any other religion, so many, then it would just branch off. There would just be a different religion. It would change their name. It wouldn't be the same religion anymore, or they would just dissipate. It would go away. Right? It says that there were all these idol worship people. No one worships today, as far as I know. They don't worship the golden calf. At that time, it used to be a big thing, worshiping the golden calf. Worshiping, what's it called? The Baal Peor. They had this big thing, and they would go to the bathroom in front of it. People do that. I know people do all sorts of crazy things today, but that was really popular one time. And now it goes, all these religions have gone away, and Judaism is still here. What's so different about Judaism than what even non-religious Jews, they know that, what's the point? Why did God give Torah and the commandments in the world? Why did he do it? So it says, Yaakov tells the story. the vorer in order to refine ulezachech and to purify the physical body, our physical body and the world, and to make it a vessel for godliness of the soul, until the physical world itself reveals the power of God in the world and becomes one with the world. Ad until diralo betachtonim, that the world becomes a dwelling for God in this physical world. Lo la'atzmuto, for God's essence. Kafi, like it will be, completion, when in the days of the Moshiach, which is supposed to be a long time ago. I mean, the fact is, it has to any second now. Sha'az, then, yizachech, then the physical world will be refined. It will be more transparent, like cleaning your glasses off. Aguf, the Olom, the yochel kabel giloy or Hashem, then you'll be able to reveal the light of God. Like it says, v'nigla kavod Hashem, there will be revealed the glory of God, and all flesh will see together that the mouth of God is speaking. That's how we exist. How do we exist? That God is creating us. Everyone will see it and feel it. It says, called basar, even the flesh, basar atzmo, the physical flesh will see godliness, since there will be a complete revelation of godliness of the poil of the Creator in the creation. Until even more, Evan Mikir Tizak, it says even the stones will yell out, God is creating me. Nifal Gashmi, that the world will be happy, good, positive. Even in the physical world, even in the minerals, the stones, and even in the animal, the plants, animals, like it was in Noah's Ark. Allah has come, how much more so our physical bodies, the physicality, the physicalness of the world, that by means of it is revealed, God's essence will be revealed in the call tza'aka, in the calling out of the stones will call out. Koach hapol, the that which is creating it, the stones will yell out, you know why I exist? Because God is creating me. Every stone will give testimony to the fact that they're being created and for a purpose. That man should use them properly, the whole world. Like it says in the Keva Sovevas Gever, like it says in the future, that the female, the physical world, Mother Earth, will be higher than Gever, than the spiritual. The neshama, that the souls will get nurture from the body. That the body, that's what the idea of the raising of the dead. And that's what Yaakov began. Yaakov began this whole entire process, as we will, God willing, try to finish tomorrow. Try to finish tomorrow. We'll see what we finish. Maybe we'll do it, but we'll do it. Okay, let's stop the share. Stop the do this. 1 second. The fact,